Welcome to I Said What I Said. I'm Brad 𝐸𝐿𝐼. That's Tyson Gentry. This is our AFC West episode. Go check out our NFC West episode. Smash the like button. Comment what you think as we go through each team. We're going to do things in alphabetical order. We are giving our breakdowns of these draft classes, Tyson. And without further ado, let's dive right in to the Denver Broncos. They didn't have a first-round pick. They didn't have a second-round pick. Now, we're not focusing on the free agent signings or the trades and all that good stuff that happened. That's for a later date. We're just focused on who they drafted in the 2026 draft. And with their first pick, which is in the third round, they took Tyler 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐫𝐢, defensive tackle from Texas A&M. 2 fourth-round picks. Their first one was running back 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐿 from Washington. Offensive tackle 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭 from Boise State was their second one. In the 5th round, they took 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐢𝐻, tight end from NC State, and they had 3 7th-round picks. The first was safety Miles Scott from Illinois. Second one was Dallin Bentley, tight end from Utah. And then the last one was Red Murdoch, linebacker from Buffalo. Interesting draft for the Broncos. What did you make of this?
I think anytime you get a Mr. Irrelevant that's Red Murdoch, you're in a good spot. Like, this dude has the FBS record for career forced fumbles at Buffalo. Like, this is a dude that if you were throwing college football on Tuesday or Wednesday, you caught some Buffalo games, and it was fun to see him go as Mr. Irrelevant. But the big one to me here, Brad, 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐿𝐼 in the 4th is interesting to add to a J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey backfield. I actually think that him and Harvey have skill sets that are pretty redundant, and so I'm interested to see how you feel on that. And then, like, 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐿𝐼 is awesome, but that's just John Franklin Myers, rotating kind of thing. Like, we're just getting a fresh body there. But Justin Jolly could be so fun with Sean Payton. This is a dude that can stretch the field. We were just talking before we hopped on that he better not mess up a single play call or he'll get put in the doghouse for 6 weeks. But that's a dude who you just kind of circle, and it's a tight end in the NFL. So, like, we're looking at year 3 or year 4, but there could be some pretty fun potential with that pick.
I love the 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐿𝐼 pick. This is a guy I really liked at Washington. I was surprised that he ended up in round 4. Again, that's positional value for running backs, in my opinion. I think he's a really good player. I think he's more closer to J.K. Dobbins' role, like kind of smash, go through, get yards, than he is R.J. Harvey, who's a little bit more explosive and kind of, do other shifty things, especially in the passing game. So I really like this pick for this 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐿𝐼 pick for the Denver Broncos. And I'm with you on Justin Jolly. Like, he could be awesome. I don't know if he's going to be a tight end for him. Maybe he's one of these bigger slot guys. Like, I don't know. I don't know what Sean Payton's going to do. It'll be interesting to see there. But those are 2 that really stood out to me. 𝐾𝐨𝐧'𝐭, kind of interesting. An offensive tackle. Broncos for the longest time had a horrendous line set up. So could he be an asset for them there? Other than that, though, Broncos are kind of set, man. Like, again, we're talking about their draft class, but they really were like, screw it at the top. We know this isn't a great one. We can get up some guys that we can use in the later rounds. I think they did that well.
Yeah, they said, let's go get Jalen Waddle to win a Super Bowl.
The Kansas City Chiefs. Oh boy. These guys, man. I mean, I liked what they did early, and we discussed this. They could trade up for Mansour Delane, the cornerback from LSU in the 1st round, trade back in, get Peter Woods, defensive tackle from Clemson, as their 2 first-rounders, which were headline-inducing in on itself. In round 2, they select edge rusher R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma. Now, we'll talk about him. I'm sure you'll have something to say, but that was headline grabbing as well. Then in round 4, Jaden Kennedy, cornerback from Oregon. Round 5, Emmett Johnson, running back from Nebraska. Round 5 again, Cyrus Allen, wide receiver from Cincinnati. Then how about in the 7th rounder? They get an old friend of yours, Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback from LSU. We talked extensively about the first rounders. And so, those are the headliners, of course. So go check that out. It's a previous episode. We talked about the first round of this draft. What did you make of the rest of what the Chiefs did?
Well, I just want to start it off and get ahead of it and say, no matter how injured Garrett Nussmeier is, no matter how bad he was last year, he's not 3 rounds worse than Drew Aller. And so that was my blow to me. I mean, it probably isn't going to matter in the grand scheme of things, but I think that's a excellent selection. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe we can flip him for a 5th down the line there, just ROI. Mansour Delane, you trade up, you get the best cornerback in the draft. I have no problems with it. People can say whatever they want. I think he's a stud. The Peter Woods draft video thing at his house was the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like his mom or whoever was next to him was wearing a wedding dress. Everyone was wearing all white. Apparently, he bought two like $100,000 cars at the end and gifted one to his mom and one to his sister. Which is, I mean, you do you, man. But the check hasn't cleared. That's all I'm saying. There it was a wild visual.
I want to hear your thoughts on 𝐼 Thomas because we went into the lane, we went in the woods. I gave our thoughts there. 𝐼 Thomas, I was curious where he was going to land. I like this spot for him going here, and with Spags on the other side of George. What's his name? I'm forgetting. Karlaftis. I like this spot for 𝐼 Thomas. Now, you had some qualms a little bit coming into this draft process about him, but I don't know if you have changed your mind with the landing spot.
Well, I think it's the landing spot is the landing spot, but I think people are forgetting last year they took Omar Norman Lott, and Ashton Gillette along the defensive front as well on day 2. So now you add 𝐼 Thomas. But parts of the game that are going to be except to kind of everybody else filled with.
We might have lost you, Tyson. It could be my connection here, so we'll try to get that fixed. I'm not sure. I think you're back now, so it might have been me. You might have actually been fine. So I'm hoping that's the case. The one that stood out to me before we move on, Emmett Johnson, a good running back for Nebraska, and we know that there's an issue in the running game for the Chiefs. They're trying to fix it now. They signed Kenneth Walker again. This is just draft focused. Man, clearly for the Chiefs, you can never have enough backs because they just have not been.
Dude, they all die. Yeah, none of them are very good, and they all get hurt. But I don't think Emmett Johnson is fixing your inability to run the ball. He can help you with moving the ball via the running back, but I don't think this is the dude that's going to come in and be a 5 yards per carry kind of guy.
Okay, let's move on to the Las Vegas Raiders because they got this thing started with Fernando Mendoza, the #1 overall pick, the quarterback from Indiana, national champion winner, Heisman Trophy winner. Very select few have done that. Everything rides on Mendoza because they need a quarterback. But, man, this was a monster draft class for the Raiders, which they desperately needed because beyond needing your franchise QB, there are a lot of holes across this franchise. So I'm going to go through these quickly here. Second-round pick, Traden Stukes, safety from Arizona. Round 3. Kieran Crawford, defensive end, Auburn. Another round 3 pick. Trey Zune, the third, guard from Texas A&M. 4th round, 𝐸'Mond McCoy finally has a landing spot, the cornerback from Tennessee who had the knee issue coming into this draft. And, boy, was that something that people might have taken for granted coming in here. Another round 4 pick, Mike Washington Jr., running back from Arkansas. Dalton Johnson, safety from Arizona, was a round 5 pick. Hezekiah Massis, cornerback from California, was another round 5 pick. Then Malik Benson, wideout from Oregon, was round 6. And Brandon Cleveland, defensive tackle from NC State, was a round 7 pick. Lot going on here. What'd you make of what the Raiders did?
I love teams in this spot, right? Because the Raiders get to take Mendoza first, and then if he hits, the rest of this doesn't matter at all. And then they were just able to buckshot through the back. And so if Mendoza isn't any good, and Traden Stukes ends up hitting, or 𝐸'Mond McCoy is okay, then that's awesome. We'll talk plenty about Mendoza in the NFL coming up, and I think he's going to be pretty good. But the 𝐸'Mond McCoy thing is awesome. Like, this could be absolute smash, or this dude could never play. It's interesting that the entire league was like, we don't want anything to do with this guy. And then the Raiders, who just have a Max Crosby trade, taken off the table because he feels his medical with bad knees, or like, yeah, we'll take McCoy. He passed ours. Don't worry about it. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. And that's at the 4th round, when that's your already at that point, like their 6th pick of the draft. That's just good business.
For sure. I mean, he could be our shutdown corner if his knee checks out. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Traden Stukes is, outside of Mendoza, this could be the star of their draft class. I mean, he was awesome at Arizona. It was a really good secondary for them, and he was a standout there. Super fast. I think he could be the captain of the back end, which is something that they need. And if McCoy's good too, that's somebody to keep an eye on. How about Mike Washington Jr. paired with Ashton Jeanty? I mean, let's go help out the guy, right? I mean, I would have preferred them to upgrade the offensive line, but that's
better than
just what free agency, So again, we're just talking more about this draft class. They did draft Trey Zune, the third and the 3rd rounder. I have no clue if he's going to make the team. I have no clue if he's going to be a contributor. That you just kind of roll the dice on some of the offensive line picks, especially when you're not talking about first rounders. But this was a haul, and they're trying to plug clear holes here. Secondary was a focus, a defensive tackle on the interior, as well as offensive guard. And so I thought the Raiders did well.
Yeah, it's like I said, this one just there's more potential to win here if you're Vegas than there was for anybody else in the entire draft.
Los Angeles Chargers to close out the AFC West. Their first-round pick was 𝐃𝐨𝐬𝐫𝐫𝐫, the edge rusher from Miami. Second-round pick, center Jake Slaughter from Florida. They had 3 fourth-round picks. Their first one was Brennan Thompson, the wide receiver from Mississippi State. Second one was Travis Burke, the offensive tackle from Memphis. Their fourth was safety Genesis Smith from Arizona. Their fifth-round pick was Nick Barrett, the defensive tackle from South Carolina. They had 2 sixth-round picks, guard Logan Taylor from Boston College, and another guard, Alex Harkey, guard from Oregon. Chargers, Harbaugh, we're kind of getting more into the DNA here. What'd you think of what they did?
It was fine. Jake Slaughter was a super weird pick to me because this was the worst interior offensive line in the NFL, and then you assign Tyler Biadasz to a 3-year contract, and then you draft Slaughter, who played center basically his whole career at Florida. So now which guard spot are you going to kick him to? Because it just doesn't make sense to double up on those guys. And I can beat them up about how badly they needed offensive line help. Mesidor is going to help too. They just lost Odefa Owe. They're eventually going to have to replace Khalil Mack. So I think that's fine. But the interior line being so bad and then waiting till day 2 and taking a guy to play him somewhere else is interesting.
Yeah, the Chargers didn't do a whole lot for me here. I mean, you kind of just have to trust the front offices if you're a Chargers fan. Like, oh, yeah, these guys are going to plug and play. For us here, I didn't necessarily like what they did. Now, 𝐾𝐨𝐬𝐫𝐫𝐫, I think is going to be able to play and be a difference maker for him. At least has a high floor of being able to be productive coming off the edge as a pass rusher. So that's something of note. And I think Genesis Smith is actually a good pick for them in the back end. I liked what he did at Arizona. I watched a lot of his games. I think he's going to be a stud in the NFL. And so that's fine. The rest of it, Tyson, yeah, I'm with you on the Jake Slaughter thing. Brennan Thompson, maybe, he's going to hit. I don't know. This to me was a strange draft if you're the Chargers.
And we saw Mike McDaniel fist pumping everybody after they took Brennan Thompson, so maybe he's just got a plan. We've never really seen Herbert with like a true burner. He was the fastest dude at the combine, I think, 4.26, special speed, but we'll see.
Well, Mike McDaniel said he was going tarps off if they took him, and I don't know if he took the tarp off, but that's what he said. So maybe there's a shirtless McDaniel, something that's owed here as we get into the summer months, Tyson.
Him and Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson. All right, let's give some final thoughts here. Overall, and you laid it out well. This is going to come down to, for the Raiders, if Mendoza hits or not. I think he's going to be really good. That's just my thoughts. I think he's got the makeup. He's the size, has the arm. Is kind of a savant almost if you're like listening to him do interviews and talk with Urban Meyer and some of these other coaches breaking down things. I think that's what the Vegas Raiders need. So that stands out to me, and you just kind of circle that. Other than that, the Chiefs with their first 2-round picks, love what they did. Then they get Armason Thomas. I was a fan of that. Chargers was a strange draft. And then the Broncos, they didn't really care about this draft. You can see they traded away some picks, got a couple guys they liked, and said, all right, let's pack them in, boys.
I think almost the entirety of the division's not immediate future, but Mendoza has a chance to swing this thing for all 4 teams. And so that's the one to watch for all 4 of them. I thought Kansas City was awesome in the first round. I don't care what anybody says. You lose Trent McDuffie, you replace him with Mansour Delane. That's good. I just, it's got to be Vegas. Like that's the story of this whole division.
All right. Like, subscribe, and share. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you're a fan of these teams, let us know what you thought of your team's draft. If you have criticisms for these teams as well, let us know. We're all NFL fans here. So if you have different evaluations, things like that, let us know in the comments. Smash the like button on the way out. Subscribe, because we got a ton more of content like this coming your way, where we're definitely going to cover your favorite team. If these are not one of your favorite teams, share it with a friend, with an enemy, one of your buddies, the group chat, all that good stuff. We'll be back talking some more of these divisions. So stay tuned for that. Until then, guys, peace.